Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. What is that? Pie crust? Somebody got a hammer? Stay tuned.
Tag, partner!
Oh, gosh!
Oh, Coach Goo just did a tweener on the Fast Track Tennis. You can get your tweener on the Fast Track Tennis too. 365 days a year. Discount code is below. Get your Fast Track on today.
All right, guys. So, my buddy Daniel. Yeah, you know who you are, Daniel. You saw my video when I went to the Windsor Racket shop in Shibuya earlier in the year. And you saw me take a photo or video when I glanced over these rackets. So this particular racket, there were a couple of them. And this brand name is Kneissl. Kneissl. And this particular model is the Prime Star Black. There was a Prime Star White, a Prime Star Red. I was trying to do a little bit of research on these rackets just to see if I could learn about them, but it's all in Japanese. So I know there's deciphering codes and all that stuff, but I'm too lazy to read and decipher. From what my understanding is, this is the heaviest of all the colors. But why did they do this to the racket? Like, what does the curves do? That's what I was trying to understand. And it's all through, the racket except for this part. So you see the curves right here and then over here. So it looks like an apple pie crust. The weight of this with the overgrip and strung, 323 grams. The balance, 325. The swing weight, 309. 100 square inch head, 27 inches long, 16 by 19 string pattern. The beam, 24, 26, 22. Similar to a lot of those 100 rackets out there, right? But I'm super excited to try it. So let's get on the court and see what this is kind of all about. All right, stay tuned. All right, Coach Jerod, Kira, is this a rose? Is this pie crust? Did somebody go crazy with a hammer? When you first saw this, what did you think?
Me personally, I thought someone tried doing some artwork on a tennis racket. Don't really know why it's been molded like that. Very odd looking frame, but that's kind of what I thought.
I mean, I just thought it didn't look very aerodynamic, but it's a little weird.
Maybe it's aerodynamic in its own way. Maybe somebody already got mad first, like this. They smashed it a couple of times, and they're like, I'm just going to make a racket like this. All right. Enough about whatever it looks like. When I saw this at the Windsor Racket shop in Japan, I'm like, what the heck? What are they doing? I had to touch it and feel it and all this stuff. There's a red version of this and a white version of this. This is the black version. And it's the heaviest version of all. So I thought Kira and Coach Jerod played with 100 square inch rackets, pure drive, arrows at one time or other. So I thought you guys would be the perfect person to try out this Prime Star Black. Look, Prime Star Black. Even kind of hid the name for some reason. Do you know the name Kneissl? Either one of you?
Nope.
I bet your dad does. So they were big in kind of the 70s, 80s-esque. If you're a skier, they make skis too. You guys know Yvon Lendl?
Yes.
Remember the Adidas racket?
No.
Oh, he had an Adidas racket that was like 80 square inches. And supposedly, Kneissl made it first. And then Adidas took over on his first year. But you guys are too young for that. Maybe you guys aren't. But let's talk about how it played. What did you think, Coach Jerod?
Yeah, so the racket first, as with most frames that I kind of see these days, it copies the same throat as the kind of pure arrow, and it's also a mix of the E-zone. So on top of that, I just couldn't get over the fact the racket was bent and bumpy and whatnot. So I was kind of thinking like, oh, maybe they got some technology or something to make it, a little more pop or maybe more feel or something. I'm not really sure what they were thinking about. But it was kind of odd. I was kind of expecting a lot of pop from the racket because, as you know, with most 100 square inch size frames, you do get just natural power. And the beam is also pretty thick, but it's the complete opposite for me. I just find it kind of, similar to the Yonex rackets. I was kind of having a hard time getting the ball through the court. The sweet spot felt pretty big and pretty nice, but at the same time, you didn't hit it in the sweet spot. There's also a lot of dead feeling spots on the frame. So I think when I was hitting with Kira, specifically, if I was trying to go for a rip shot and didn't hit it dead center, the ball didn't really go as much. At the same time, the launch angle was extremely low. So I was kind of getting a couple of balls into the net. I kind of had to bring up the kind of trajectory of my shot a little bit more to kind of get it through the court. And then I think you also mentioned too that I was hitting pretty short in the first 5 minutes of the hit. So definitely took a little bit of an adjustment period. I wouldn't think I would really gravitate towards a racket like this. It was definitely fun to experiment with it and try it out. But for me, it was kind of like a hit and miss kind of frame where some shots felt good and some shots didn't. So yeah, that's kind of my take on the stick.
Kira, what'd you think?
Kind of similar to Jerod, but I feel like I never got in a rhythm with the racket at all. Every single ball that came off it was a little different, whether it was high or low or deep or not. In general, I feel like most of them were a little bit shorter. Like you said, the launch angle was very low.
Yeah, not a fan, huh? Okay. So 52 pounds with my string, which we'll keep confidential. Okay. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it, but it's freshly strung. So maybe that has a little bit to do with the launch angle. But I know what both of you are talking about. You have to commit to the shot and you have to let it go. If you kind of lollygag it, it will keep falling short. So you have to commit to the shot and let it, I don't want to say let it rip, but let it rip. Because if you didn't, it didn't go anywhere. And a lot of the times for you, it went into the net. For me, it barely went over the net. So it's a good experiment. I'm glad I didn't pay for it. Thank you, Daniel, for hooking it up. It's coming right back to you, though. I hope you play well with it. But guys, if you see this racket in Japan and you need a racket that you want to just let rip and you like this kind of pie crusty rose-ish kind of thing that comes in red and white, those are, I believe, lighter. This is the heaviest one. Okay, so welcome back, Kneissl. Unfortunately, it's not for us. Okay, Kira, where can they find you on your joint Instagram?
You can find us at KJ Tennis.
Coach Jerod, where are you at?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Ma Tennis.
All right. I want to thank Daniel again for hooking me up with the racket. Thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.